Back in the early years of using Electric Quilt, there were a number of letter exchanges. This was before the Text Applique feature that was added to EQ, and it was a chance to give us an entire alphabet of a particular font while only drafting a couple of the letters. The other bonus of the exchange was that it gave us a chance to practice using the applique drawing features in Electric Quilt. Through Art and Stitch, the program I use for creating digitized designs for my long arm, I was introduced to a font called Hawaiian Quilt. Each letter is a Hawaiian quilt block. This video demonstrates the tracing of one of these Hawaiian quilt blocks. I did locate this free font on the internet and downloaded it to my computer. As you can see in this Word document I have opened, I basically typed the alphabet in Word. I changed the font type to the Hawaiian alphabet, and then I actually set the size at 150 because I wanted the photos to be fairly large. And I think there's one letter here for all of the alphabet. And you can see as I'm scrolling through here, there's a lot of fun designs that would make great appliques for quilting projects. So let me share with you how I drafted one of these blocks in Electric Quilt. The first thing is that I am on the block work table, and if you're selecting a new block, I'm going to select a patch draw block. Now I could have done just the motif, but I do like to have a background. I'm going to start now by importing an image for tracing. And what I did do is I used my snipping tool in Windows and took a snapshot just of one of the blocks, and this is actually the letter E. So if I say OK, I can click, and it basically is filling the screen. And I am going to lighten it quite a bit because I think you actually want to see more of my drawing than you want to see the actual diagram. And obviously this is still plenty dark for me to see what I'm doing. So now I'm going to go to the Applique tab, and I'm going to use the freehand tool, and I'm just going to trace an eighth of the block. And this doesn't have to be very precise. I just want to get a basic shape down. Now I do find that when I trace, that when I'm using the freehand tool, every time I reach a point, I will actually I will release the mouse, and I will then return to left clicking with the mouse to keep drawing. And I release there, release there. And you can see this is not a great applique, but I'm not really overly concerned about that because I'm going to do the cleanup as soon as I'm through with that. So I've got a basic shape to work with now, and now I'm going to use the shape tool, and I can select individual elements, and if you use your shift key while selecting arcs, you can see these handles appear, and those handles are actually nodes that helps me to move either the shape of the arc, or I can also move nodes. Now I'm going to zoom in a bit so you can get a better look at what I'm doing here, and I can basically use my mouse, and I'm going to first move some of the nodes in place, and then I'm going to use the handles to try to basically follow the curves of the applique shape that I'm tracing here. So that looks pretty good, and you can see here that I wasn't quite close enough, so I did have the auto join feature on, so when I move those close together, they did combine. And I'm just starting by moving the shapes the nodes into the corners of each of the shapes here. Okay, so for this one, you're going to see that it's a little hard to get a great shape, which means I need to add a node. There's a number of ways to do that. One is I can click on Add Node, and you can see that it just did it there. And now I've got an extra node, and I can probably do a little bit better job of doing that particular arc. The other way is to actually just double click on the arc in the place that you want to add the node. And you can see it added one there. And I'm going to use the Shift key and select a couple again of these arcs so that I can, because sometimes I just don't know which. I like to play with all of them until I can get something that looks close to what I'm wanting to work with. And again, I just did the double click for that to add that node. And then I use the Shift key, select each of the arcs. Ooh, I don't like what it did there. Actually, if you double click on a node that's there that you don't like, it will delete it. And so I'm going to then add it again, and that'll give me something a little bit easier to work with there, because I'm not sure what I did, but it was a little bit out of control. But I think you just saw how easy it is to fix if that happens to you. Now, when I do draft, I try to put in as few of nodes as possible, because I think you get a lot smoother drawing with fewer nodes. And I did forget a piece there, so let me just go ahead and add that. And I'll shape that as well. And okay, so if I fit to work table, you can see I've now drafted 1/8 of the block. So I will now use my pick tool and select that section, and I'll use the buttons up on the top here for, I'll first of all clone, and then I will flip left and right, and I will move that in place. And if I again use my shape tool, I can just, if I move one of the nodes nearby, you can see now it's combined those two. And I will again use the pick tool. I will clone, and in this case I will rotate it 90 degrees. And I will now move that in place. Okay, and I've now combined that, and I'll take my pick tool and clone, and in this case I'll do 180 degrees. Okay, and I must have moved something out of shape there, so I'll just move that, and then move that, and now if I want to combine those, and I want to combine those. Now I maybe want to clean that up, just those little places where they combined there just a little bit, so that they're a little bit smoother. I might do the same with that one down there. And basically I'm just flattening that a little bit so you can see what I'm doing there. I'm going to actually hide my image so you can now see my completed applique. And if I go to the color tab, I will color first the background and then the inner shape. And I'm realizing I'm probably a little bit too close to the border, so I'm just going to go back for a second and I'm going to right click and I'm going to resize and just bring the block down to about 98%. And I'm going to center it. And now I think I like that. So I can go ahead and add that to my sketchbook. I hope you liked this video on drafting a Hawaiian quilt block in Electric Quilt. I would love to hear your comments or any suggestions that you have found that would be useful in using this tool. Thanks so much for watching.